Hey there everyone, this is ChefMKT, and welcome back to Let's Play Touhou Labyrinth 2. Where's the patchouli mouse cursor? There you are. Okay, so where we last left off, we had just begun exploring the first floor of the dungeon, and we picked up some quite useful items. However, I haven't taught you guys how to equip those items yet, and we probably got some level ups by now, so I need to go through that too before we go back into the dungeon. So first of all, let's go look at equipment. So here we go. So there are two main categories for equipment. There are main weapons and sub-weapons. So you can equip one main weapon, which is the top slot here. And this is the main weapon that we picked up. So this is a +3 MP item, which is great. So I'm probably going to put that on Marissa, if anyone else, because that gets me that much closer to having a large enough MP pool to allow me to use Master Spark, because Master Spark costs us 27 MP, and right now my Marissa has 25. Okay, so let's look at the sub-weapons really quickly. So the 4 items that we picked up in that locked chest at the end of the first video are the +36% items. So we have +36% attack power, +36% defense power, then we have a +36% magic attack power, and finally a +36% mind. So first things first, I'm obviously going to put the attack items on my Nomizi, which is great. And I'm probably going to also put the defense... No, that's a bad idea. That's not going to cut it. Kiane, I guess you can take the defensive items? No, let's put Raim... I got an idea. Okay, let's put Raimu there. Then let's put Raimu with the defensive items. Because with Raimu, she can heal. And I obviously want to decrease the amount of likelihood that my Raimu would die before she could get some heals off. Okay, that's all good in the hood. And finally, we picked up some magic attack items. So we have the +36% here, and the +12% here. So that's perfect for Marissa. And Rinosuke gets nothing because he's pretty much useless in my eyes. But that's my opinion. Anywho, so let's look at level ups now. And we get some explanations here about how level ups work. So, as in every single RPG ever, pretty much, there are some exceptions to that rule, obviously. But levels are pretty darn important in this game, because as I said before, numbers are king. If you don't have big enough numbers, just go home, Sonny Jim. Okay, so the first option here is you can level up characters individually, like so. Level up. And then for each level up, you put in a bonus stat point to wherever you want. Now, this is where some of the character customization, rather, and the min-maxing goes on. So it's really up to you how you want to maximize your character's potential. Now, in my eyes, my Raimu is going to be a very defensive tank-type character with the utility of buffing up my defenses and healing. So she will not be doing much attacking at all during the major encounters. So in my eyes, I think that Raimu would be best suited for defensive stats. Now, Raimu's mind stat is extremely high already, so I think that concentrating on her physical defense stat would be more optimal to allow Raimu to survive both types of encounters. So that's my reasoning there. Now, the second option here essentially allows you to level up every single character that's available for level up. So most of the time you're going to be using the second option, and then the third option you can put in your allocated stat points. So for Marissa, she is obviously going to be a magic nuker, so maximizing her magic attack stat would be ideal. Now Kiane is a bit of an interesting one because she has the potential to deal damage, because she has 2 elemental magic spell cards that are pretty darn useful, because one, the first spell card that she has, which is Dark Element, actually targets the enemy's physical defense stat, which is quite weird. However, I think Kiane is more suitable in a defensive / supportive role as well, same as Raimu. So I think that evening out her defensive stats would be better for her, but that's my opinion as well. You may agree or disagree. Now Rinosuke is purely support, so it's up to you. and his stats are totally well-rounded. So you can focus on his HP, you can focus on his defensive stats, or you can increase his speed so you can get more actions per battle. So it's really up to you how you want to play that. But I think what I'm going to do with Runosuke is probably just do it in HP, because I'm probably not going to use him at all. But that's okay. If you change your mind on characters, you should be able to reset allocated stat points. That's totally fine, you can do that. Anywho, with Momiji, Momiji can be a physical attacker or a tank type character, and I think I'm going to try to make her a defensive tanker this time. I'm going to try it out. I want to play a little bit more defensively in this playthrough, because I don't want to die all that often. Now this option here is essentially using, you collect items which are basically permanent setup items, and you can chuck them on characters. You can get them back as well by resetting their allocated stat points as well. So, you know, you can re-customize and customize again and again in this game, which is great. And then finally, this one here is de-leveling. So, there you go. Why you would want to de-level, I don't know. Anywho, I'm just going to visit the patchouli shop really quickly because I want to spend some points into Momiji. So I'm going to spend some attack stat points in here. 5, that's perfect. I want to save up the rest of my points for later. Okay, so with that said and done, let's go make a quick save. Lovely jubbly. And then let's head back into the dungeon. That took like, what, 10 minutes as well? That's okay. Let's get a bit of mixing going on. Get some exploration done, get some informative PSAs done. Okay, good. Let's look at the map really quickly. Okay, so we have some missing unexplored squares there. However, I don't think there's going to be anything interesting there. It's just going to be empty tiles, if I recall correctly. Yep, just empty tiles, so that ain't no thing. My OCD in me tells me I want to explore all the spaces, but when I'm doing this on screen, I want to be as efficient as possible. Now, as you can see, because I had leveled up to level 2, my Marissa now actually goes first before the Squirrel. Aha! Now those little buggers aren't going to be a problem anymore. Bam! Now, I guess the next thing that I want to talk about in terms of the combat phase and the mechanics is the active time bar. So, essentially... Oh, what's going on here? Oh, it's a teleporter. Okay, never mind then. That's just a little simple thing. What's this? It's a dark blob. And as usual, if it's a dark blob in a Touhou game, it's either going to be Rumia or Mistia. In this case, it's going to be a Rumia. How you doing, Rumia? How you doing? She looks a little bit sad there. I think she's hungry. Yeah, it looks like she's hungry. I think we need to feed her. Anywho. Alright, so we're in combat. So, the way that you determine who takes their turn next is the active time bar, which is this little bar here. So when the bar reaches 10,000, that character or enemy will take their turn. Now, in the case where there's multiple characters or enemies that are above 10,000, first of all, it will be whoever has the highest value above 10,000. Yes, that is actually possible, as you can see here. My Marissa's ATB is at 10,096. Everyone else's is at 10,047. Please take note of that. Second, in the case of a tie, like we have here, the character on the leftmost position will then take their action first before the characters to the right. And obviously, next, if you have your own party and the enemy party tied, you will go first. So you got that? So priority goes highest number above 10,000, leftmost position, player before enemy. That's the way you should remember it. So those are the 3 priorities in terms of the active time bar. Okay, with that explained, I guess we can now mosey along here and take a nice, quiet stroll through this forest floor because it is quite a nice, pleasant walk. So it looks like the bee still has to jump on me, but that's okay because I have to jump on the squirrels. So let's just go asteroid belt everything because I want to conserve my TP. Beautiful. Ah yes, in the previous video I wanted to talk about the evasion stat as well and comparing it to the first game. Okay, so in the original game, the evasion stat was actually broken. Now, what actually was intended was the evasion stat was supposed to be used to evade attacks, obviously, right? That makes sense, it's the evasion stat. But in the original Touhou Labyrinth game, the evasion stat only actually worked against regular attack commands, which in that game, there was like only one type of enemy in the entire game that would actually use the regular attacks commands, which essentially rendered the evasion stat totally useless. You with me so far? Good. Now, in this game, the evasion stat is working as intended, totally fine. It means that you can dodge enemy skills and magic attacks, but not only that, that also means that your spell cards can miss as well. Aha, so it works both ways. So that is something to be wary of if you have played the original Touhou Labyrinth game. The evasion stat is working as intended. So, just a heads up for you guys. Okay, so since Momiji now is at level 2 with some extra stat points into a physical attack, her single target physical should be able to deal with the acorns pretty darn well now. So the acorn shouldn't be a problem at all during the course of the first full exploration. Isn't that great? Just one level of difference makes everything so much easier now. Excuse me. So, as per usual in most RPGs, if you're having trouble with, a battle, just level up. So the item that we picked up there is actually quite important. Let me just go over that really quickly. This little guy here. It increases your HP recovery stat by 3. I will go into a little bit more detail about that later when it's relevant. But the item itself, we need this to recruit a party member. So do not do anything with this item. Don't sell it, don't trash it, don't do anything with it. Just have it in your inventory. But this TP plus 3 item there, I'm going to put it on my Momiji. Lovely jubbly. And what's this little guy? It is another teleporter. Okay, so those sets of teleporters there will actually allow me to skip around like half the explored floor already. So it makes exploring the rest of the dungeon a lot less time-consuming if I return back to town, which is great for me. You know what? Yes, I will concentrate there. And then you can concentrate, and Kiene can blast everything with a Dark Elemental attack, because Fluff Balls are weak to Dark Elements. Excuse me, have a bit of a blocked nose today, so please excuse my nasally voice. Boopity boo, it's probably a dead end, yep. And let's explore over here. Ooh, a green exclamation point. We got ourselves another crafting item. Okay, so there is something else I want to draw attention here. Whoops, it's this one. This crafting item right here, we also need this to recruit another party member, so do not do anything with this, don't craft anything with this as one of the components, do not sell it, otherwise you will regret that decision and you will waste a lot of time. Just another heads up for you guys. Okay, so we have another event space here. So this is a mini tutorial on the other icon that you'll see in dungeons, which is essentially a boss or mini-boss, and it tells you what level you should be at to fight it, I suppose. I think that's what it's talking about there. And I've been reading around, and it also has to do with like a challenge bonus, where if you are at that level or below what is marked on the map, you will get a bonus when you beat that battle. I think that will be like in terms of the items that you get. You might get more items. But I don't really care about that at the moment because I don't know what items you get. And the game is just telling you there, make sure that you have your MP maxed out before you encounter one of these, because you probably need all of the resources necessary. I'm level 2. I think I can take it on. I think I can. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to rest up, get my MP back. Beautiful. And let's go. We are ready. So it looks like we have a little squirrel guy here, and it seems it has taken Kogas's parasol. Aha! Coincidence? I think not. So the main problem about this fight here is that it will summon 4 squirrels, and then it will use that skill there that will make all of the squirrels attack immediately, which is very dangerous. So this is what I want to do. I want to use Concentrate on my Marissa to increase the magic damage output. I'm going to use my Mizi here to clear the field. Beautiful. I'm going to use Reimu to increase my defensive capabilities to help me survive the next onslaught if it so happens to happen again. And then finally, Kiane will buff up my attack stats again, so it allows Marissa to do maximum damage immediately. I've got this all planned out, guys. Look at that, 300 damage in the bag. I'm going to buff up again. Beautiful. And my Kiane is almost dead, that's okay. My Mizi, single targeted down. That's another 400 in the bag, let's heal up. And that should be the end of the fight, I think. So yeah, as long as you don't do this at level 1, you should be okay. Because if you do it at level 1, you're kind of screwed. And it also helps that you had taken the chest that I took in the first video where you had those 3 green exclamation points in a row. If you had taken one of the other 2 that I didn't take, you might have to do this at level 3 because you wouldn't have the equipped items that I have right now. Regular attack, and that should finish it off. Beautiful. So there we go, we got some lovely crafting items there for the taking, and we've got a bit of extra gold and experience. Good. So it looks like Kogas's umbrella has taken quite a beating there, as you can see. It's a bit broken down, so who could we seek to repair such items? Well, I am glad that you asked that, because we need to go back to town anyway. So, if we go to the green option here, this is Notori's workshop. So this is where you will buy items, this is where you will sell items, this is where later on in the game you will also craft items. So this is also a fairly important place to go where you want to visit occasionally. Wow, my word pronunciation is pretty bad today. Oh man. Okay. So we're going to have a lovely conversation about what she does for a living. You know, she does her usual thing of mechanical objects and stuff like that. And then, since we picked up Kogas's umbrella, Notori is capable of fixing it, so please do. And she will fix it free of charge, I believe. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she requested a fee, I don't know. Anywho. So, after a day or so, it looks like she has fixed up the umbrella for us, which is great. Thank you very much, Notori. So let's go through the options here really quickly. So first option here is to buy items. And as I mentioned before, the items are sorted into categories. The first option is main weapons. So, as I mentioned before, you will need this particular item to recruit a party member. Here's the catch though, you need 3 of them. So, I would highly suggest you save your money and buy 3 of them as soon as you can, or rather get 3 of them as soon as you can. And then this option here is to sell items. Or sell your equipment, rather. This option here... No, sorry, I totally got that wrong. This is the buying option. This is to buy main weapons. This is to buy sub-weapons. Sorry, I completely screwed that up. Okay, redo. The second option here is to sell items. And then you can sell your main weapons. You can sell your sub-weapons. Or you can sell your crafting items. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I do not want to sell any crafting items ever. Never ever do it. Never ever ever. You'll waste your time doing that. Okay, with that sorted out, let's go look at the blue option here, and then that takes care of everything in the main menu, which is great. So there's not much to talk about in this section. There are only 2 things here, and they aren't really that useful. So they are the bestiary and the achievements list. So, this is the bestiary. It tells you the enemy's weaknesses and resistances, as well as the levels and the HPs. So, obviously, they took a book from the Strawberry Bose RPGs. The crosses indicate major weaknesses, triangles indicate a slight weakness, circles indicate a resistance, and then I assume the star is like total immunity. Yeah. And there's probably like, yeah, a circled circle is a high resistance to that particular element or status effect. And then there's probably like a star or something, like a hollow star to indicate strong resistance. Anywho, this is the achievements list. So as we can see here, we got an achievement for something, which I think is, I have no idea what that is actually. I think that's like walking 200 steps in a dungeon and then you get an item. So there we go. So you'll be seeing a lot of those pop up as I play through the game. So let's make a quick save here and then let's dive back into the dungeon, I suppose. Actually, no. It's been about 20 minutes now, so I think this is a good time to stop the video. So I'll see you guys next time, whenever